Because if you have 232s, I think you can go pretty good.
The ABS 13 Open National Championships, it is anybody's game heading into finals right now. In 7th place, we have Alex Johnson. 6th place, Lizzie Asher. 5th place, Angela Payne. 4th place, Sierra Blair-Coyle. 3rd place, Shasta Julian. 2nd place, Shauna Coxey. And in 1st place, Alex Puccio. It's all Alex's game. If Alex comes and she climbs on point, she does what she knows how to do, it's going to be very, very tough to beat her. You can make the argument that no one ever has when she's at the top of her game. Are you rallied for number 4? You feeling good?
Rallied, yeah. Rallied. It's not going my way right now, so we'll see.
You focused? You psyched for number 3?
Yeah, just have to look forward to the next 2 and just pray something good happens.
Legendary champion of the audience, watch me scream for my victory. So they're applauding the spirit more than the lyric. Raise my hands, this is history. I'm a champion, like Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, and Jeter and Gretzky, Serena and Jesse. It's out in the arena, especially I perform like Reyes on the Mets.
Make some noise!
Alex Pucci, our ABS 13 national champion. Congratulations, Alex. How you feeling?
That was a fight and a half. I don't know. That was not. I didn't plan that. That was not the way I planned it at all. I just got there and I was like, there's no way I'm going to do it the way I planned it. So I got to figure out something.
Instinct takes over?
Yeah. I think I just really wanted that last hold really bad.
I'm really psyched. I tried really hard, so I'm psyched that I just put in a really good effort. Alex and I have a fun little rivalry. At least I have a rivalry with her. Maybe she doesn't have a rivalry with me. But I really like to gun to try to give her a run for her money, and I think all of us did that today.
So looking over this finals list for the finalists, you may notice that Jimmy Webb is not on here. He was our #1 qualifier. Jimmy had a super impressive performance yesterday, but against a field this strong, I mean, you just get thrown to the sharks. If you have one mistake, it's game over, and Jimmy just couldn't hold it together in semifinals. Looking over those top 6, first name out was Sean McCall, last year's ABS national champion. Sean missed finals by 1 fall. He had the McCall meltdown, man. He left it all on the field.
I feel just really tired. I felt like throwing up after pulling 3 and 4.
In third place, we got an interesting guy. We got John Cardwell in third place. Now, if you're in the know, you've probably heard of John Cardwell. Everybody calls Kardec one of the top climbers in the world, but he's just never proved it on a stage like this. He came in, flashed 3 or 4 qualifiers.
Well, I knew I was doing well with the first 3 flashes, so I knew I just had to keep my head in the game and go for the last flash. Unfortunately, that ain't happened, so I guess I'll just have to see what happens for the rest of the round, because I could tell the way I climbed that the people behind me are also going to climb well.
So the storyline in the men's finals is, can anybody beat Daniel Woods? This guy at the top of his game. Everybody knew he was the strongest climber. Now he's one of the best too. You look at his technique, he is on point. The guy looks like a Euro climbing. It's unbelievable.
What is something changed, or is that just a natural evolution, or am I making things up?
No, some stuff has definitely changed for me technically wise. I've been doing some more yoga and just trying to use my body more when I climb and not jump for everything, and actually read the sequences, how they were intended to be set, because a lot of the times I'll try to make up my own sequence, and that's usually when I fall. So if you climb the climbs how the route setters intended them to go, then you'll usually do the boulder.
Can anybody take down Daniel Woods? This is a long list of strong climbers here. We're going to find out tonight. ABS 13 Open National Championships. It is anybody's game heading into finals right now. In 6th place, we have Carlo Traversi. 5th place, we have Michael Bautista. 4th place, Ethan Pringle. 3rd place, John Cardwell. 2nd place, Austin Guyman. And in 1st place, Daniel Woods.
Good job, man. You're the only guy to do number 2. How'd that feel?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty damn good.
Got any gas left for number 4?
Oh, yeah. I haven't climbed much yet.
Carlo, you're bleeding. What's up, man?
Got some splits, man, but it's okay. Tape around it, it'll soak it all up. We'll be good for the next one.
here with Daniel Woods, your ABS 13 national champion. How you feeling, man?
I feel pretty psyched. It was a difficult battle out there. Actually, different competitors only topped each problem once, so each problem saw its own first ascent, which was pretty cool. And yeah, I was just psyched to climb with everyone and squeaked by, so psyched.
Well, that says a lot. I mean, every different style counts, and if you won, that must mean you got them all pretty good. You feel good about your climbing now?
I feel good about it, but there's some stuff I still need to perfect for the next few events. So that's what I'm going to train for, and hopefully be able to complete more problems in the next finals at the next events.
Welcome to the City Auditorium in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Judges are finding their spots. Head judge, please push forward, making his round.
My name is
making sure everybody's in
Brian.
place.
We are
Elbow machine here is fine. Just at the start. Female semifinals making their way out. The product start on the left side of the wall and go to the right in 4 problems. 5 minutes, 5-minute rest. I believe Jess is a Colorado Springs local. Let us hear you represent Colorado Springs for your own.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the ABS National Championships.
Are we
Here
out there
in
now?
Beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado. My name is Pete Ward, sitting here next to the climbing narc, Mr. Brian Runnels. You are watching Jessie Youngworth, our first female competitor, on problem 1. There were two more female qualifiers than male qualifiers, so we'll have 22 women and 20 men today competing for 6 spots in finals. Jessie doing anything she can to get to the top of problem 1. One woman out and 1 problem done here on problem 1. While Jessie's figuring out how to get down from there, I want to take a minute to thank our sponsors. This is the ABS National Championships, powered by the North Face. Our partners are Evolve, Cliff Bar, Entrepreneur Climbing Wall, Climbing Magazine, and the UBC Pro Tour. Our suppliers are eGrips, Technic, Motivation Volumes, Asana Entrepreneur Climbing Walls, and locally we're supported by Chick-fil-A, the Sports Corporation, Chalkstone Climbing Guides, Luau's Taco Shop, Pure Grit / Flying Daisies Women's Chalk Bags, and the City of Colorado Springs. The ABS National Championships is a production of USA Climbing, and the UBC Pro Tour is a co-production of USA Climbing, our national governing body, and NE2C Productions. So, heading over here to Brian, my partner in crime. Brian, we had a long day of qualifying yesterday. 78 men, over 40 women competed, whittled it down to 20 men and 22 women for semifinals. What are we looking at today? Yesterday, I know coming in, you and I felt like it was going to be a battle between Alex Puccio, Daniel Woods, and the entire rest of the world.
Yeah.
And it's really sorted out that the rest of the world has stepped up. Where do we stand coming into today?
Yeah, so there are a couple interesting storylines that came into play yesterday. On the women's side, our #1 qualifier was Megan Mascarenas, who's just 15 years old, only woman to finish all 5 problems. Really impressive showing on her part. Of course, in second place is Alex Puccio, 6-time winner of this event. She's won 6 out of the last 7 years, in fact. So.
Yeah, and I was most impressed. You know, we've seen Alex do it time and again, and that was no surprise. And I think, excuse me, she has to remain the favorite until proven otherwise. But for me, you know, if you're not from the Front Range of Colorado, maybe you haven't heard of the name Megan Mascarenas, who only just aged in to be able to compete in the adult nationals. She's not even 16 years old yet.
Right.
And she climbed with a maturity beyond her years. I was super impressed at how calm and relaxed she looked, and I'm interested to see if she can carry that over into today. More spectators, brighter lights, more people tuning in online. That she's got to feel that pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And likewise on the male side, another kind of surprise first place qualifier. We had Dylan Barks out of Michigan. He was the only male to flash all 5 problems. Just destroyed all 5 problems very quickly.
Yeah, tell me a little bit. I just learned about Dylan Barks yesterday. This guy's quite a route climber, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably more well known for his prowess climbing routes down at the Red River Gorge, where he's climbed numerous 514Cs down there. Just a really nice kid. Watched him climb a couple times down there. And then, same as with the women, sitting there in second place, Daniel Woods, another 6-time champion in this event.
Yeah, 2 6-time champions there, and in Alex and Daniel Woods. And Alex 6 out of the last 7 years, Daniel Woods 6 out of the last 8. So, you know, as we were saying yesterday, it's going to be a huge upset if anybody can give them a run for their money today. Yesterday, obviously, that was the case, with neither one of them qualifying in first place. Huge surprise to me.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Daniel Woods and Alex Puccio both have won this event 6 times, so they were pretty young kids when they first started winning ABS Nationals. So I think that it'll be interesting to see if any of these younger kids now can kind of take that mantle from them going forward.
Yeah, let's talk about the depth of the field for a minute. So there are some names at the top that we know. Daniel Woods is up there. Vasser Vorotnikov is up there. The previous national champions, obviously Alex Puccio, Alex Johnson on the women's side. But there's a lot of names, particularly on the men's side, that I was really surprised to see not making finals, which gives you an indicator of the depth of talent that's out there nowadays with the proliferation of climbing gyms all across this country. People coming up from places where you might never have previously expected to see a great climber. Let's talk a little bit about the names we don't see coming into semifinals that were a huge surprise to me.
Yeah, so a few of the names on the men's side that didn't qualify for semifinals. You had guys like Ethan Pringle, Dan Beal, Chris Webb Parsons, Dave Graham, all guys that are certainly capable of winning this event, but just couldn't put it together yesterday.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors in deciding whether or not you're able to advance at an event like this, and the mental side is as important as the physical side. Looking down the qualifying list on the women's side, I was really surprised to see Isabel Faust and Megan Martin sitting there in 12th and 13th place. I thought we'd see a little more out of them, maybe at least a top 10, but I think one of them could have been top 5. You think maybe they can settle down a little bit and rally today?
I think so. I think what we found yesterday was that the women's problems generally were pretty tough. Only Alex Puccio and Megan Mascarenas finished more than 2 of the problems, so there's a definite logjam with some of the women in that 2-problem top range, so there's a lot to be determined still today.
Right, so as we talk about what's going on with all the climbers yet to come, we're looking at Katie Peters here. Very close on problem 1. She still has 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, which is plenty of time. Brian, Katie was recently featured in a somewhat controversial, was it a cover or a pseudo cover or a mocked up cover of Climbing Magazine?
It might have been a cover.
A fitness issue, known for her grueling workout regimens, and her physique was featured in Climbing Magazine. These are some of the fittest athletes on the planet, and the top 20 climbers that you're going to see here today, all just tremendous, tremendous athletes who work really hard to get where they are.
For sure.
Okay, so stick with us. We're going to be here all morning and all evening. The finals will start at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're going to pull in some athletes. We're going to talk about route setting. We're going to talk about climbing. Please do join in the conversation. Brian is managing the Climbing Narc chat room along the live stream. Please do hit us with your questions there, or if you want to follow the conversation on Twitter, we're using the hashtag ABS14. That's #ABS14. Hit us up there with any comments, questions, thoughts. Talk about anything you want to talk about. We'll do our best to get involved. Welcome to Broadcast in the 21st Century, and welcome to the ABS 14 National Championships in Colorado Springs.
As the morning progresses here, we're going to kind of pull in some athletes that competed yesterday and other VIPs, kind of chat with them, get their take on what's going down.
Okay, so as we watch Katie Peters coming up to the top of women's qualifier 1 again with only 15 seconds left on the clock, I'm joined here in the booth by the SBC Pro champion, Josh Larson. He won the most recent UBC Pro Tour event out in Seattle at Stone Gardens. Big up to our people in Seattle. Thank you for hosting such an awesome event there. If you have any questions for Josh, please hit us up in the chat room or on Twitter at hashtag ABS14, and Josh will do his best to answer. Josh, we're looking at a replay right now of Katie Peters. She's only the second woman out in semifinals. Talk a little bit from the competitor perspective about what's going through your mind when you're one of the first ones out. On the men's side, we're looking at Josh Levine over there, I believe, on problem 1. Do you feel pressure in that situation? Do you feel like the pressure's off? What do you feel if you're the first one out?
The first one out, you kind of feel that, you know that, I call the first boulder problem like the jitterbug boulder. You want to get all those jitters out on that boulder, and you know that that boulder in generally is the easiest, so you know you should flash it. So you feel that pressure of, just wanting to flash it right away. But generally they're these balancy, off-balance, low percentage routes, so they get you off the balance in the low percentage part.
So what do you do as a competitor? I mean, obviously we've been talking a lot about the beauty of climbing as a sport and the fact that there's such an interesting interplay of mental and physical challenge. What do you do to keep yourself cool? What do you do to stay cool, to stay calm, to be able to use your technique and not just your brawn, which obviously Josh did a great job of? How do you keep your mind in the game?
I try not to focus on the crowd as much, like when I'm sitting in the chair before I go. I just look at the boulder and come up with a couple different ways to do it, and kind of plan on, like, always have a plan B, and just really focus on, at least if it's balanced, just with my feet most of the time, just focusing with my feet. And
Cool, yeah, it's going to be really critical on a slab problem like this, and obviously this wall really, it hammers you as a climber. If you have any weak link in your game, there's slabs, there's overhangs, there's dihedrals, there's all kinds of crazy stuff in here, and if you've got a weak part of your game, it's gonna show through really quickly. As we're watching Tyler Youngworth here try and figure it out, she's got 3 minutes left. Cool, good to see her doing that. So Josh, let's talk about you a little bit, man. You had a breakout fall, in my opinion. You won your first UBC Pro Tour event over a really strong field, all the way out on the other side of the country from your hometown in Boston. You won in Seattle. And I think we all had really high hopes for you coming into yesterday, and you started out so well, man. You were cruising. You did the first 3 problems. Talk a little bit about what happened and how fine the line is between success and failure coming in, in a field this strong. Talk about what happened to you yesterday and what you're going to do going forward.
Yeah, so 1, 2, and 3 felt really good. I was like, okay, training's paying off. This is feeling really good. Got up to number 4, and number 4 wasn't my style. It was kind of crimpy and things like that, but I knew that I could do it. I knew that it was there, and falling off the top of it twice was a little heartbreaking, but I kind of had a feeling because I knew the walls. I knew that the last boulder problem was going to be a slab, and I feel that slab is a strength of mine. I've been able to do every slab boulder in front of me at all of these comps. So I was like, okay, that's like my backup plan is to do this last slab. And I got to it, and there was the mantle move in the beginning, and I couldn't push off the start hold basically, which was, you know, I was just having like panic attacks on like, okay, if I don't do, this is like the third, this is like, I need this fourth top to do this boulder, or just 1 point. And it basically came down to doing that, getting that one extra hold would have put me into today.
I think panic attacks, that reminds me of the British grading system. I feel like for comps, when the pressure's ratcheted up, you should get an E grade for a problem. That slab was like E9 or something like that.
Yeah, there was some serious like, oh man, I really need to do this boulder, and I had a feeling like, I don't know, I just wasn't flexible enough or something to get my leg up there to stand up.
Yeah, well, these route setters, I mean, with this type of setting, and you know as a competitor too, that they're going to be hammering all different areas. You know, when I think of going home and training in the gym, I think a lot of us do, it's really easy to fucking, I'm going to do another set on the campus board, focus on finger strength, core strength, more push-ups, more sit-ups. But like you said, the problem, you know, that you were having yesterday was a mantle. You know, do you train that stuff when you're in the gym?
Not enough, apparently. You know, I always looked at it as a strength, you know, so I try to focus on my weaknesses when I'm training. But I didn't do enough slab training in the gym. But it was definitely, I did it, just not enough of it, you know, and it was very hard yesterday for me to deal with that, you know, like looking back, like, okay, I really should have put more time into this area, but I guess that's for everyone that didn't make it.
Well, yeah, so you led me into exactly where I was going to go there. So we were talking a minute ago about how amazing the roster of guys who didn't make finals. You, Kyle Owen, Mike Feinberg, Ethan Pringle. I mean, that could be a finals round in and of itself anywhere in the country, at any comp in the country. And those are all guys who didn't make the top 20. Talk a little bit about the way this sport is growing, the depth, and how hard it is to stay on top. It seems like there's just kids springing out of the woodworks. I didn't know who Dylan Barks was, and now he's our #1 qualifier ahead of Daniel Woods. I mean, what is it like to try and stay on top of that game?
Yeah, you said it right there. Like, these kids just coming out of nowhere, just absolutely mutants, just like little freaks coming here. Michael O'Rourke, you know, Alex Fritz, all these kids are just really good rock climbers, really strong rock climbers, and I think it's, you know, they put in a lot of work, they put in a lot of time, and I think the kids are, you know, they're kids, you know, they're like 20, I guess, but you know, I think they put a lot of time into training and a lot of effort into these comps.
Yeah, we're looking, speaking of kids, young adults, we're looking at Cicada Generic there on problem 1. Cicada just had her 19th birthday yesterday, so getting into semifinals is a good birthday present for her. And on the men's side, I see bib number 10, that's Joseph Gifford. Katie Peters is just getting started out of frame on problem 2. We'll bring you there if there's action there. You see it in the wide shot. So going back to the kind of the state of competition climbing in the country right now, so would you say, you know, with all of that talent, that huge base growing up, what do you see for the future of the sport? I mean, how does it look in your eyes?
I see it in the Olympics. You know, I see all these kids right now, that these 17-year-old kids right now. What's her name climbing right now?
Cicada Generic there, and she's one of these climbers who seems like she's been around forever. She's been at the top of the game since she was, you know, 12 or 13 years old. So I feel like she's kind of a, you know, an old gun at this, or she's been around forever. But she really just turned 19 yesterday, and that's something that you see more and more of. But I agree that I think the sport can only grow, and it gives me great pleasure to be talking about the best competition boulderers in the country, and they're from everywhere. They're from Florida. You're from Boston.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're from all over. They're young, so they're gonna just get better and progress more and learn more. And one thing about the comp climbing is the more comps you go to, the more times you win and the more times you lose, you're learning and gaining so much. So by the time it's in the Olympics, these kids are going to be ready for it for sure.
Yeah, these kids and the next generation. But good news for you, I think climbing has a longer arc at the top than most people. I think you're still a young man in this game, and you'll be around for a long time. Hey, Josh, we're going to swing back to Brian Runnels here, the climbing narc, and see what's going on in the chat room. Will you hang out and give us some analysis for a little while here in the semifinal round?
Absolutely. I'll be hanging here with you.
All right, so if you have any questions for Josh Larson, you want the pro competitor experience, or excuse me, perspective, please do hit us up in the chat room. That is being moderated by Mr. Brian Runnels, the climbing narc, or hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag ABS14, ABS14. We are live at neverstopexploring.com, climbingnarc.com, and lt11.tv. Mr. Brian Runnels, the Climbing Narc, what does it look like from your position?
Just kind of getting a feel for what these problems look like, kind of seeing how they're going to shake out, see how different competitors look on them. So we watched Takeda try and figure out women's #1 here. Already had a couple tops of women's won by the Youngworth sisters.
Ready?
Thank goodness for pro athletes, Brian. I've been corrected on Josh Levin's the pronunciation of Josh Levin's last name. It is not Josh Levine. Apologies to the Levin family.
We're going to learn a lot about that today, Pete.
I really appreciate Joe Gifford's shorts there, the Lone Star State representing. Do not mess with Texas. And in this case, Texas is messing with some slab. It's pretty amazing looking route there, really symmetrical. Brian, I saw you chatting with the route setters earlier today. A lot of these routes look to me sort of like works of art that you can climb. Did you get any insight from Mr. Mike Helt, Mr. Chris Danielson, or our head route setter, Mr. Jeremy Harden?
I did. You know, one of the most common questions in the chat room that people have is what are the grades of these problems? You know, how hard are these? And when I was talking to Mike Helt, they don't think about these problems in terms of grades. You know, obviously grades are subjective. Everybody's got their own opinion, so they just try and kind of gauge how they feel these climbers are climbing and set the problems appropriately as kind of a set. You know, today they have 4 problems for each gender, and they have to kind of think about how cumulatively those problems are going to go for each climber.
Yeah, you know, that's actually a really interesting point about grades. I've always really felt, and we're watching Josh Levin here on problem 2, as well as Tyler Youngworth. You brought up a really interesting point about grades. I've really felt, and I wrote once in Rock and Ice magazine, that I feel like competition is sometimes the most pure form of climbing because there are no grades and the grades don't matter.
Right.
Nobody talks about the grades. It just matters, do you get to the top? Which for me is the most pure form of climbing. I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in a number and evaluate, you know, your whole experience based on whether or not it was the number you wanted to achieve, when climbing is just so much richer and deeper and more meaningful than that. And I realize that might sound a little bit touchy-feely, but I also think it's really true. You know, these athletes here are really some of the best athletes in the world, and I want to experience them and their performance for that. I don't want to evaluate it based on whether this is V7 or V11.
Right, and the way these comps are set up, it really provides a unique challenge for these competitors.
Oh, Asana moment there, Josh Levin. That is brought to you by Asana, our pad sponsor. Jamie and his crew up there in Idaho, keeping these athletes safe. You're watching Andrea Zeke right now. He took a long break from competition climbing, but is back in a big way as she grapples with semifinal #1.
Well, like I was saying, Pete, it's kind of a unique challenge where these climbers only have 4 minutes to climb each of these problems with minimal rest in between. So, you know, if they had all day to climb these problems, I'm sure they could probably finish all of them. But with limited time and a lot of pressure, it's unpredictable what you're going to see.
Right now we're seeing Andrea Zeke stopping to chalk up on the way to match the finishing hold. Jesse Youngworth not messing around, getting into that big Tufa feature on problem 3.
Oh, nice effort by Jesse Youngworth on women's 3.
And you know, you got to ask yourself, we were talking about the route setting perspective a minute ago. I think we would agree, Brian, that the women's qualifiers round was desperately hard yesterday. Only one athlete, Megan Mascarenas, our #1 qualifier, did 5 problems. only one athlete, Alex Pucci, our number 2, did 4. After that, everyone else only did 2 problems. So you got to expect the route setters to probably dial down the difficulty for the women's field a little bit here. And if you're a route setter and you're seeing the early semi-final qualifiers getting really high on these problems, your heart's got to be a little bit in your throat. You don't want to make these routes too easy.
No, you sure don't. When I was talking to the route setters, they said they weren't going to adjust the difficulty of the women's problems too much after what they saw yesterday, just because the semifinals rounds are generally supposed to be pretty difficult. So it'll be interesting to see if Jessie Youngworth is just climbing really well and how she's going to stack up once more of the women come out.
Oh, and Alex Fritz. Nope, sorry, excuse me. That's Josh Levin. Wow. I was so overwhelmed by his endurance that I couldn't even get his name right.
I mean, anytime you can bust out a figure 4, you pretty much have to do it.
That's what I always say at the drive-through, you know, in a business meeting. He's got 50 seconds left, which is technically enough time for another go, but he's going to wave it off. Brian, let's talk a little bit about the strategy you got to use as an athlete here. You know, you want to leave it all in the field, but you want to spread out your energy and spread your fitness out across all 4 problems. Know when to hold them and when to fold them. Let's talk a little bit about making that choice.
Yeah, I mean, you always have to make a calculation as a competitor. If you don't make it to the top and you fall, do you feel like you have enough energy to actually make it back to your high point and advance it in a meaningful way, or are you just going to get back to the same spot and fall again? And it's just a calculation that competitors have to make on a case-by-case basis.
And every hold matters. We're using the top score system, which is the U.S. national score. It's developed. As we're looking at the replay of Josh Levin, not Alex Fritz, chalking up, trying to figure 4, trying to campus move, then finally just trying to backstep and touching that hold, but not quite controlling it. The scoring system, that we're using here at the ABS National Championships is a little different than you may have seen in past years. We've been using in past years the zone scoring system used in the World Cup. I've switched over this year to Top Score, and Top Score really places emphasis on the same criteria that we use when we go climbing outside. The number 1 criteria in Top Score is who did the most boulder problems. That is the number of successfully completed boulder problems. So doing all 4 boulder problems on the wall today would be the best possible score. After that, the second criteria is the number of holds controlled. So Josh, there we were watching him, did not control that hold that he was going for, so he does not get a point. There's no usable there's no motion points given. There's no usable portion of the hold as there are in some other scoring systems. Simple binary, do or do not. There is no try. So the second criteria is number of holds controlled, that's points. The third criteria is problems flashed. If you're not familiar with climbing jargon, to flash a boulder problem is to do it on your first try. And then after that, it breaks down in terms of number of attempts to top into high point, which we don't need to get into right now, but basically it's a much more intuitive system that basically rewards the climber that gets the furthest on each problem. And if you can ration that energy the right way, it can be worth going, again, to try and advance your high point, or if not, you got to know when to hold them and save that energy for later.
We just saw Paul Robinson out in quick flash of men's number 1. It's a little bit surprising to see Paul qualify down in 17th place.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Cicada Generic there. Is that a double knee bar? That's some outdoor climbing technique there. She's from California, right? She climbs a jailhouse. They got knee bars there.
That's some good jezery there.
I don't know that she climbs a jailhouse. I just assume based on the knee bars. The forensic evidence indicates.
Getting a great angle from our overhead camera right now.
I don't know about you, Brian, but I do enjoy broadcasting in the internet era. People can correct your mistakes. You don't have to look that stupid for that long. So thank you, Josh Hodges, for letting me off the hook on my Alex Fritz Josh Levin mix-up. I'm sure it'll be the first of many this weekend.
We're all about getting it right.
It's a red point, not an onside. That's Lisa Chulich there, finishing problem 1, Cicada Generic on problem 2, and Katie Peters on problem 3. All coming from our cable cam situation up there from Louder Than 11. Broadcast today is produced by USA Climbing and Louder Than 11. It's really a big deal to have, to my right, Jordan Shipman and John Glassberg producing this thing. This is the first time a climbing-based production company has produced a live broadcast of a national level climbing competition. And you know, for my money, it's really important that this is the case. If we're going to showcase our sport on the biggest stage possible, represent it in the best possible light, I believe people behind the scenes flipping the switches need to be the people who know about the sport, care about the sport, share our values, and want to showcase it in the best possible way. And I don't know about you, Brian, but I'm really excited to be working with these guys, and I really think that for their first effort, it really couldn't possibly be going any better.
No, I mean, all the credit goes to them for getting this working.
Yeah, we just get to sit here and talk about climbing, which I don't know how you feel, but it feels just about the easiest job on the planet to me.
Well, that's pretty much what I do every other day, so just more people listening now. Gonna get our first look at men's number 3 with Josh Levin here. Far right side of your screen.
I hear from the control tower that we'll be getting our first scoring update, and here it comes. On the women's side, we have Jessie Youngworth in first place, followed by Tyler Youngworth in second place. Andrea Ziki, Lisa Chulich, and Katie Peters round out the top 5. Now keep in mind, obviously, as these women progress through these problems, that scoreboard will update on the regular. And we will keep bringing you the live results as they occur. Tyler making it work there on problem 3. That Tufa feature looks amazing. Oh. Reminds me of climbing in Spain, the current hotbed of climbing, where La Dura Dura, probably the hardest route in the world, just went down. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? That Tufa climbing, some of the best climbing there is out there. Super enjoyable. As we watch Josh Levin and Alex Fritz, that's great. I can say both their names.
Just have Michaela Kirsch come off on women's number 1 off screen.
Wow. I'm always torn when I watch climbers catch themselves like that and then try again. You know, you got to admire the effort to rally at the same time. Can you save the energy to even stick that hold? Is it better? He's got a minute and 30 seconds left. Is it better to just come down and shake out on the ground and climb up to it again? He knows best how much energy those opening moves took up, but finally going for the figure four, Alex Fritz.
Doesn't seem like the figure four is going to work for that move. It's just too far.
Yeah. Round of applause from the crowd who appreciate the effort. That was be interested to see what it takes to get that move done.
I have a feeling there's a couple people in this field that are going to be able to stick that move.
Yeah, we are early in the round, and keep in mind that Alex Fritz is only our 18th ranked male competitor coming into tonight. So we have 17 more athletes who will be trying this problem. That's the same for the problem that Tyler Youngworth was on right there. Going to be a long morning of semifinals here, and then finals this evening. If you're in the area, please do come down to the City Auditorium in Colorado Springs.
And Michaela Kirsch coming off again on women's number one.
So as we see Alex come off, just off camera, Alex had given problem men's number two another try there. Sitting here with Josh Larson again. I want to get the pro athlete perspective on knowing when to say when. You know, how many tries is too many? He put in a lot of energy on his burn there with about 2 minutes left. He made a couple of really difficult looking kind of campus hand switches in there. How do you calm yourself down and say, you know what, I gotta holster it right here and keep some energy for the following problem? Do you think it was worth that final attempt for him?
Yeah, I think his final attempt was a smart choice because of the way he came off of his last attempt. He kept trying to go up for that crimp and kept like catching himself on the way back down. He was just burning out on a lot of energy, and he made the choice to just come down and start fresh and come up with a different idea or a different direction to do that last move. So he did make a good call by jumping down, resting for a minute. And usually you can do these boulders within a minute left, so he left himself a minute to get back on. And yeah, he got to the same point, but it was worth the effort, and it was a good strategy for sure.
Yeah, always an interesting call.
Garrett Greger topping out men's number one.
And we're looking here at Katie Peters, our first athlete on women's four. Josh, as we look at Katie here trying to figure out women's four here, I see a lot of volumes together, a lot of really small crimpers in between, kind of similar to women's number one, which we're looking at here. Again, more emphasis on slab climbing. You got to switch between technical and powerful right away between problems. Is that a problem at all from the athlete perspective?
Yes and no. Like, you are thinking to yourself before you get on the balance boulder that you're not pumped, you're fine from the last boulder, but in some cases you get on this balance boulder and yeah, a lot of it's in your legs, but you start using your hands a little bit, pulling on, pushing, pressing, you start feeling a pump coming on randomly on a slab. So it's interesting sometimes to feel a pump on a slab, but you just did like 4 other boulders that pumped you out.
So let's talk about Paul Robinson, one of the world's best boulderers. Qualified a little bit lower than maybe I thought he would yesterday, but clearly one of the most talented athletes out there. What's Paul got to do to make his success outside translate to success in the event here today? Josh Larson, so wrapped up in watching Paul Robinson be the first man to stick this move, couldn't even focus on analysis, and I don't blame him. Our first man on the head wall, Paul Robinson, all effort. Oh, and a sauna moment. So back to Josh Larson here. Josh, I was saying that Paul he's one of the most accomplished
boulderers by any measure on the face of the planet Earth, and yet he was only I believe our 16th ranked qualifier coming into today. What does Paul have to do to make that success outside translate to success at the competition here today?
Oh man, well, he's already really strong and talented climber. He can read a route well, he can perform on the wall well. He's just gotta be able to have the fitness to do all these boulders basically in a row within, 4 minutes. When you're bouldering outside a project, you can have a couple days to do that project, or at least an hour to do a project. Here, I think that the biggest difference for the competitors from outside to inside is the amount of time you have to do the boulder.
Well, give me, Paul's got 1 minute and 15 seconds left right here, right now. I want your prediction. Does he do this problem or not?
Paul is going to do this boulder problem. I want Paul to do this boulder problem, so he's going to do it right now. He's going to do it.
Okay, well, we're gonna shut up and we're gonna let everybody watch. See if Paul Robinson can be the first man to stick the finishing hold on men's number 2. All right, Josh, talk us through what's going on in Paul's mind right now. He's got 40 seconds remaining, stemmed out in that corner, lots of problem left to go.
One thing he's thinking of is he's got to take his time in here because those volumes are slippery, but he's also only got 30 seconds to get up to his high point and then finish. So taking his time, and he's about to make the and his foot popped just like his first attempt. That was not good.
And he does not have time to get on it again, and that's what you were talking about, that the ruthlessness of the format. You have 4 minutes and you have to get it done. You have no time for second and third attempts, well, third and fourth attempts in many cases. And if you don't get it done right away, it is an unforgiving format. Ooh, we are joined here by Dave Graham, checking in, one of the best climbers in the world. Maybe we can drag Dave into the booth and get a few words from him. Stand by. Okay, if you're following along in the live chat at climbingnarc.com or on Twitter using the hashtag ABS14, I am joined by any measure, one of the best climbers in the world, a homeboy of mine from back in New England, Dave Graham. Dave, how you doing today?
Good, Pete. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It was really, really good to see you out there testing yourself, climbing on plastic yesterday, just giving it your all. We were freaking out watching you on the live feed. Nobody tries harder than you do. What brought you back onto plastic for the national championships?
Well, I've been climbing in the gym lately with Matty Hong and John a lot, and Daniel, and just the weather's been awful, and I've had no real other choice but to go in and sesh with those guys. And I live around here, and the comp was here, and I was just like, well, that'd be pretty weak just to not do it, just to not try at least. So it was really fun. I just made a couple mistakes that were like easy to observe as a competitor. Like, I don't have much experience with this type of format, and I realized how hard it is to read a problem. Like, I didn't even look at the finishing hold on number 3, which is a really big mistake.
Yeah, it had that little finish, it had that little jib in that little spot, and you had to stick it.
Never saw that. And then this number 4 problem, never figured it out. Number 5, I got scared. So it was hilarious, I was just like, wow, there's some things to advance at here. But it was really, for me, it was really fun to do because I've been trying to climb hard problems lately on plastic, and I tell you, it's a very different thing. Very, very different than hard rock climbing, because I've been going out climbing lately as well, but the plastic's been interesting and challenging too.
Well, give us a little insight. Tell us a little bit as we watch. We got Andrew Kim here on problem 3, bent over backwards. A minute ago we had Josh Levin on men's number 4 as well. But we got, Andrew Kim. I'd say Andrew represents part of that younger generation that's coming up, and you've been on top of the game for so long, and one of the best. We'll talk about when you look at all of the strong climbers who are coming up in the country nowadays. What does that make you think about the future of climbing, the future of the sport, with all these young, strong kids out here?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, not only do I mean, at least in this competition, I really get to see a bunch of the young climbers that I don't really know personally, but just I climb a lot with the younger generation of climbers, and they're the type of techniques that they're doing, the type of things that they're incorporating into their climbing and their daily routine is very different than the things that we used to. And one of the things that's really noticeable is people use their thumbs more. People are squeezing holds differently, and it's just a very different style of climbing in general. So it's kind of fascinating. We remember like the PCI days and stuff, like all the old competitions, like the problems were set very differently. Now there's like a lot more techniques that are being thrown in there, and it's really these guys that have kind of coined that. That's their generation more than anything. Like Daniel and John Cardwell and Paul, those guys kind of led the way in the gym. And then Carlo, like a whole bunch of these guys, and then like the younger ones, you know, the ABC kids, for instance, they're just, I mean, the triple jumps, you know, they just rock that, no issue.
So do you see that translating at the highest level to the climbing that's going on outside? A minute ago we were talking about, you know, everybody knows about La Dura Dura, just went down in Spain with Adam and Chris working on that route. I mean, do you see this generation translating to success outside on real rock coming in the years to come?
That's really interesting question. I'm not sure if this generation's invested enough time in terms of developing techniques that are applicable towards rock climbs. I think that a lot of the new stuff that's going on here is really applicable towards plastic and the evolution of like the kind of hard stuff you can do on plastic. Daniel's a great example of somebody I climb with that I look at who does stuff in the gym that he applies on rock. And it's kind of hard, I think, for him to take some of his raw strengths and apply them to rock. He has to find those climbs, and that's really the new future, you know? I mean, maybe, yeah, we'll have people doing stuff like Dura Dura in the future. I mean, Adam Ondra is probably a little bit ahead of his time, you know? We'll say that. But when it comes to everybody else, like this whole new generation of climbers, it should be interesting to watch them try and apply stuff that's been developed really in the gym outside, because they're going to have to start searching for a different set of climbs that don't exist, which is cool, this is how it's going to evolve rock climbing, you know?
Well, you're known for that. I mean, you're prolific in terms of your willingness to go out and adventure and search and epic and, you know, climb in any conditions. And you really have that motivation. You're talking a minute ago about trying hard. And I think that's my favorite thing about your style. I mean, it really is, if you're going to say one thing that you're like an A++ at, is that never give up, never quit. And I think it's really inspirational to this, you know, younger generation to see. And it's really good for them to see you coming and testing yourself here. My hope is that it's going to inspire them to bring some of these talents outside as well and see, you know, help them or help you progress the sport forward. Because what's gone on just in the last, what has it been, like 15 years really you've been doing this?
Yeah, it's getting to be that point somehow.
Oh yeah, you're the old dog now, man, right? But wouldn't you say, I mean, the game has changed a lot in those 15 years. Where do you think it's going to be 15 years from now?
Wow. 15 years from now, I think that's going to be very interesting. If we look at the difference between 15 years ago and climbing and where we stand at the moment, it's just such a radical change, you know. I'm sure it's kind of hard to predict, you know.
I'm putting you on the spot here, man. I got no idea either.
I'll go and throw this out there. We'll just hope that the climbing's in the Olympics, and that we'll hope professional rock climbing has become more of a iconic lifestyle and is more of an opportunity for the young climbers, because that's really where, you know, one of the separating things that's going to change the advancement of our sport is when it becomes hip and cool to be a pro. We'll see a lot more people having the opportunity to be a pro. The industry will support them a bit more, and ultimately that might make it so a lot of young talented people don't quit rock climbing to go to college because there's no opportunities in our industry. Another thing, you know, we got to think about, it's like maybe in 15 years we'll be at the point where people can actually, like, you know, rock it forever, you know, like it'll be a big deal. I hope I'm around in 15 years. I'll be trying to, you know, rep for the what'll be over 40 crowd, and I'll be trying to climb probably 15C if I can manage to climb 15B. And hard boulder problems. I mean, I don't care. I got older. I mean, Danny Andrade, you know, he's 36 or something, you know. We always look at him and we're like, dude, we're all going to be here in 10 years.
Climbing's a beautiful sport like that, man. The peak of your ability as an athlete, and particularly when you come to the technical stuff, climbing outside, it can go for years and years and years. You know, you got Lynn Hill still climbing well, and tons. I mean, just in our own neck of the woods, you know, the Team Tough and Ward Smith and those guys just still doing great.
Oh, it's amazing to see, like, generationally, like, a lot of the past generations of climbers are still getting stronger, which is a really cool thing. So I bet in 15 years we just see a more focused progressive community more than anything. We're going to see like people coming together. There's a lot of that going on now, a lot of unification in order to evolve things and see things progress. Like I was talking about with the opportunities and just, I mean, what you guys are doing here, like even this feed, this is an opportunity for people to learn about climbing and understand it more. I guess the more of these things go on, the more like we also explore our culture essentially.
Yeah, well, and we get it out there, and we bring climbing to as many people as we possibly can. It is an amazing sport. So let's talk for a minute before I let you go. This is, if you're just tuning in, this is Pete Ward sitting here with Dave Graham, and we are watching right now. It's Francesca Metcalf on women's number 2, and out of screen over here we got Paul Robinson thinking about stepping up to men's number 3, and we were talking a minute ago about Paul Robinson and I think this is some of the challenge you were talking about too, about making skills outdoors apply to skills indoor or results indoors. You know, by any measure, Paul's one of the best boulderers in the world, and now we're seeing him here on problem number 3. How's he gonna get to the top of this thing?
I don't know. Paul's an incredible plastic climber. I'm really impressed with his climbing in the gym. I mean, his technique is solid. Like he's doing the moves the correct way. He's got a lot of power. He really got his thumbs going on. Come on, Paul!
We also got, and we got Garrett Greger as our first man to get to the top of problem number 2. Yeah, and he is psyched. That is Garrett Greger out of Team ABC in Boulder, Colorado. Our first male to the top of problem number 2. Right on. Well, hey, Dave, I want to thank you for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, give everybody a little sneak preview. What's up in the next couple months of your life? What are you doing?
Oh, man, how exciting. On the rock climbing level, I've been really close to finishing off a project of mine up in this place called Elkland. I think it's probably upper end V15. It's been over a year that I've been working on it, and I almost did it right before this comp. I split all my fingers and stuff. It didn't help my...
Dave's tips, which you can't see on the internet, Dave's tips are wrecked. There are bruises on all of them.
Scrapes. I'm going to do that next week. Like, even if it's snowing, I don't care. That's going to get done, I hope, and then I might go to Spain actually for a couple weeks, and then hopefully me and Daniel were planning on taking a trip out to Jumbo Love in April.
Ooh, that would be great to see.
So that's going to be really fun, climbing with the D-dubs out there, wrecking that big rig, you know, just trucking on up there.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Hopefully an April send of Jumbo Love, or at least good progress from Daniel Woods and Dave Graham. Dave, thanks for stopping by, man. We'll see you soon.
Pleasure, Pete. Thanks for having me up.
Take care, man. Mr. Climbing Narc, how are things in the chat room? While I was talking with Dave Graham, we missed a lot of action. What is the status of the ABS 14 National Championships?
Well, for the first time, we're at a full load. We have 8 climbers out on the wall at all times now. Action's getting crazy. Starting to kind of see what the patterns are going to be on some of these problems. Men's problem number 1 looks like it's been pretty doable for most of the competitors. Garrett Greger was the only competitor to finish men's number 2. That puts him in first place right now. Local favorite Austin Guyman on men's problem number 1 there. Here's a nice wide shot. See everybody up on the wall. Michaela Kirsch on the left side of the screen. Andrea trying to figure out this technical women's number 4 on the far right side of the wall. Looking at Matty Hong pressing his way up in men's number 2 here, trying to figure out how he's going to get to that next hole. Most of the men have been facing out from the wall to do that move so far. Alex Fritz coming off men's number 4. Looks like he should have time for another try. We're going to have some scores for you here in just a second. Get an update on where our climbers stand at this point. Almost halfway through this morning's climbing. Isabel Faust topping out women's number 1.
Another Asana moment there from Mr. Matty Hong. That is a thrilling problem there, men's number 2. Okay, and we've got a scoring update now as we look down. Starting at the top, that is the Youngworth twins, Jesse and Tyler, followed by Andrea Zeke, Lisa Chulich, and Francesca Metcalf. Great to see her back in competition after an injury at the National Championships 2 years ago. Looking at problem 1 right here, that was John Cardwell starting things off. I'm sure we'll hear more from him later. And on men's 4, his final problem of the semifinal round, that is Mr. Paul Robinson, hiding from us in a dihedral right now. But Narc, how's he been doing so far in the round?
Well, he started off pretty strong by flashing men's number 1. Number 2, really great effort, but he didn't quite finish it up, which I think is probably going to hurt him. Same with men's 3. He had his hand on the finish hole and just couldn't quite match it up.
Yeah.
So
took a huge fall from the top of men's number 3, which we're looking at Garrett Greger getting ready on, and now we got Paul Robinson. All right, topping out number 4, using the skills that he has from climbing outside, not intimidated by that dihedral. As we look at Garrett Greger with our moving camera shot there on problem 3, louder than 11, stepping it up. You're looking at Lisa Chulich on women's number 4. Narc, how's it going in the chat room over there?
A lot of people calling out for their favorite climber, trying to get them on the live feed. We're doing our best to get as many climbers as we can on here. It's pretty difficult with eight climbers at a time, try and keep track of everybody.
Yeah, the semifinal format is designed to get us ready for finals, not designed to be good for broadcast. 8 climbers on the wall at a time. We'll do our best to keep you abreast of everything that's going on. If we miss something on camera, we'll let you know what the results are. And we do apologize if we miss your favorite climber. And right now, if your favorite climber is Garrett Greger or Lisa Chulich, you're in luck because they're on problems 3 and 4. And Lisa getting to the top of number 4. Yeah, is that our first climber to top out women's number 4?
I believe Andrea just finished women's number 4 as well, so.
Yeah, that's right. It's the old short-term memory failing me. Not the first time, won't be the last.
So you can start following this thing. You might see it say flash, which obviously flash is your first attempt. One of them to kind of hit a home run in this competition.
You're looking at Megan Martin sizing up number 2, and you just saw Tiffany Hensley jumping off the top of problem 1.
And then the number represents the value for the holds. Obviously, increase the higher you go. And then at the end, you have your total points. And that's how you get into the big show.
Francesca Metcalf stepping up into women's number 3. So once again, we're here at the semifinal round at the ABS National Championships in the City Center Auditorium in lovely Colorado Springs, Colorado. Semifinal round is the top 20 climbers from yesterday, and we are paring the field down to the top 6, barring any ties, for finals later tonight. And we're looking at Garrett Greger up at the top of problem 3, trying to figure out which heel he wants to heel hook with, or does he want to switch it to a toe? Oh! And another Asana moment there. Now on the left of your screen, Francesca Metcalf having trouble with that tufa. Only climber on the wall right now is Megan Martin on problem 2. And that looks like a really difficult, you can't see from this angle, but there's a very difficult to target horizontal that the route setters have created up there. Looks like that's going to be a tricky stick, Brian.
Yeah, as a lot of people have pointed out in the chat room, these problems are pretty technical. I would say maybe with the exception of men's 3, which seems a little bit more of a straightforward power problem. That still has technical aspects to it, but pretty much all these the rest of the problems they require the climbers to really think about how they're going to move over the wall and not just, pull hard.
Going to come to you with another scoring update. As you pointed out, Andrea Zeke topped out problem 4, and so did Lisa Chulich, so we got some movement at the top there. They've moved into 1st and 2nd place respectively, with Francesca Metcalf moving into 3rd. On the men's side, Mr. Paul Robinson is in 1st place, followed by Garrett Greger and Alex Fritz. Josh Levin is in 4th, and Andrew Kim is in 5th place. Maddie Hong still with some climbing left to do, has an opportunity to move up there.
Got new climbers, Carla Traversi and Chelsea Rude, out in their respective first problems.
Want to give a shout out to everybody who's following along on Twitter using the hashtag ABS14. Do appreciate it. Hit us up with any questions you got. We'll be pulling some more athletes in here later. So Brian, you were talking about a minute ago about how technical people are noticing these problems are. And earlier, right when the round started, we were talking about your conversations with the route setters. In my experience, chatting with the route setters, they have a goal of really testing all areas of climbing. This is not a fitness contest. This is not a pull-up contest. This is a rock climbing contest, and rock climbing has a lot more to it than just who can do the most pull-ups. Maddie Hong, a lot of skills this guy has, not just pull-ups. What do you think? Is he going to be the first guy to do this boulder problem?
I'm gonna say yeah.
He looks strong. He looks stronger than anybody I've seen. Oh, opting to go with the toe and not the heel, and his left foot slipped, so he had no opposition when he hit that finishing hold. I'm not sure. I feel like that might be a heel, not a toe.
Hard to say. Some of the guys have been going out left, some of the guys have been going out right, and it seems like the identical move either way, so it may be just a matter of what they're more comfortable with.
Andrew Kim there wearing the Brooklyn Boulders t-shirt. Representative of the next generation of climbers coming from urban areas you might not traditionally think of when you think of top-level rock climbing, but Andrew Kim's got plenty of skills to get it done. Got some great shout-outs on Twitter here. Apparently we are disrupting homework, and we have a shout-out for Megan Martin. We are here to disrupt your productivity and to bring you the ABS 14 National Championships. We're here to crown our national champion, name our U.S. national team that will represent us on the world stage for the coming year. And there's a $10,000 cash purse that will be given out, split equally between the men and the women as well. That is Austin Guyman, not on women's 2 as you saw, on men's 2. Off now, curse to the announcer there. That's Shannon Russell on women's 3. As we zoom in to check out Maddie Hong with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on men's number 3. I like his chances here, Narc.
He definitely looks strong in his first attempt, and he's got a lot of time here.
Maddie disagrees with me. He says toe, not heel. Oh, so close.
Not much to grab onto on that finish hold, and I think it's a really quintessential comp problem there. I think that these guys had time to work out those moves in isolation. They had figured out pretty quick and dial up this problem without a problem, but you know, when you only have 4 minutes and you got to start from the ground every time, there's just only so much you can do.
Our moving camera reveals our cable cam from ladder 11. Andrew Kim high on men's number 4. Really difficult making your feet stick there. Austin Guyman having trouble there in problem 2, but he's got no shortage of fans in the building. He's a local here in Colorado Springs, and people really want to see him do well.
About 45 seconds left for Michaela Kirsch there on women's number 4. She's got a lot of fans in the chat room. I'm a big fan of hers as well, having seen her climb for almost 10 years now, I bet, in the Midwest.
Yeah, we were saying yesterday in qualifiers that yesterday was a great day for the Midwest, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a lot of great climbers. Great showing yesterday by Michaela Kirsch, Michael O'Rourke, Alex Johnson, both Alex Johnsons.
Dylan Barks.
Yeah, Dylan Barks. A lot of
people making noise for Austin Guyman and Maddie Hong and Andrew Kim with 9 seconds, 8, 7. Maddie Hong's got time. Can he stick those last 2 holds? 2, 1. He's going to get timed out. Oh, so close.
He's really going for it, though. I mean, he had points all the way up to the last hole, and he wasn't going to let that be enough.
The far left of your screen, you can see, you can just about see Matt Wilder previewing problem number 1. Matt's our oldest competitor here of the day, and he marks, I believe, our entry into the top 10. Or maybe Carlo did. But anyways, Matt's interesting. Dr. Matt Wilder, 33 years old, our oldest competitor. As I pointed out yesterday, and I think as most people know, that guy can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 10 seconds, so I believe in his ability to do a slab problem. Looking at John Cardwell here. John was one of our dark horse contenders we were thinking might have a chance. He's going to have to move up substantially here in qualifiers as he moves into the dihedral, climbing next to Megan Martin on women's 3 and men's 2. I got to say, Brian, I like Megan's chances here. She is excellent when you get into this steep, powerful type of climbing. She's been training enough and she's got her fitness.
Yeah, we've seen the women struggle there. A couple Youngworth twins did really well there, and nobody's quite been able to figure that one out.
John Cardwell putting the heel hook rest in there. That's a new wrinkle on that problem. Still Garrett Greger, the only man to top this problem out. Matt Wilder high on problem 1. Tiffany Hensley stepping up to women's number 2. Francesca Metcalf over on her final problem of the semifinal round, problem 4. Oh, so close for Mr. Wilder. Now as we zoom in on Garrett Greger here on men's number 4, Garrett's got a chance to move into first place. He's sitting in second right now behind Paul Robinson. But if he tops this one out, that would put him in sole possession of first as the first male to do 3 of the 4 problems.
I think you got to think that 3 problems at this point is looking like it'll be pretty close for finals.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. You know, as we move further into the running order, it's not like these guys aren't still having difficulty with the earlier problems. And Garrett pulls it off. Our first male to pull off 3 problems. That's going to move him into first place. I would say Garrett would be a surprise entry into finals if he manages to make that top 6.
I think so. I mean, he's definitely a talented climber. but you haven't seen him a lot at ABS Nationals, making it to finals at this point.
You're watching Garrett Greger getting congratulations for his excellent semifinals round. We've got Ben Hoberg on number 3. Can he be the first guy to get this done? Oh, not quite for Ben Hoberg. Still remains unclimbed. That could be shaping up to be our hardest problem of the day. And there is Garrett Greger at the top of the standings, followed by Paul Robinson, Alex Fritz coming out of Seattle, Andrew Kim, New York represent, and Josh Levin. Josh going to school at Northeastern in Boston, Mass. He's been a good addition to the Northeast climbing crew. Right now on problem 1, you're looking at Galina Parfanov and Matt Wilder. Tiff Hensley stepping into the knee bar on problem 2. And Megan Martin with 40 seconds remaining, working up into problem 3 for the women, as John Cardwell steps off of problem 4. Excuse me, problem 2 for the men. 26 seconds remaining in this period for the athletes. And I misspoke earlier, I said they have 4 minutes each. In the semifinal round, they have 5 minutes for each problem and 5 minutes rest in between. As we got a small break in the action here, I want to give another shout out to all of our sponsors. This is the ABS 14 National Championships powered by the North Face. Our partners are Evolve, Cliff Bar, Entrepris Climbing Walls, Climbing Magazine, and the UBC Pro Tour. We're supported by eGrips, Technic, Motivation Volumes, Asana, and Entrepris Climbing Holds. We've got a lot of great local support as well. We'd like to thank the Sports Corporation, Chalkstone Climbing Guides, Luau's Taco Shop, Pure Grit / Flying, Daisy's Women's Chalk Bags, King's Chef Diner, Heuberger Motors, Phantom Brewing Company, and City Rock Climbing Gym. As we're looking at Austin Guyman, a local here from Colorado Springs, high on problem 3. He's got that heel on, and he is vying to beat, switched it to a toe. Oh, the first, still no men have completed problem number 3. And Isabel Faust, high on problem 3. And we identified her as one of the women that could really make a move. She qualified in 12th, but yesterday going into qualifiers, you and I were calling her out as a woman who might be able to crack the top 6 into finals in a bit of a surprise.
Oh, that was a great effort.
And she's got the high point, but not the top. You think Isabel's looking stronger today than she did yesterday?
I would say so. She definitely came with her A game today. She's another one of those Midwest climbers.
We're going to claim her in the Northeast now. Isabel's at Hampshire College in Amherst, Mass, my alma mater. She climbs locally at the dojo and at the Central Rock Gym in Hadley, so we're stealing her away for the moment as we watch Maddie Hong on men's number 4. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining as Austin Guyman steps up to problem number 3. The building is live for this guy. He is the local favorite, and I got to say, if he were to make finals today, it would be off the hook in here.
Yeah, he made finals last year. It was quite the response from the crowd.
These guys are just having an impossible time getting their either foot, left, right, heel, toe. It doesn't seem to matter to stick up there. Seems like problem 3 is going to be a real differentiator here going into finals. And you might be right, Brian. 3 problems might be enough. Yeah, and looking over to the women's scores there, we have the live scores in the building, and we'll bring them back online real quick. But Isabel Faust has moved up into 4th place just based on her results so far. And she's still got 1 minute and 28 seconds remaining and lots of time to improve as you're looking at Maddie Hong and Carla Traversi with Shannon Russell there in the foreground. Carla's got this huge move. Oh, and he sticks it. I don't think Carlo's not the tallest competitor in the field, and I don't think that helped him on that huge move. But as he comes up to this head wall, he should fit right in there. I like Carlo's chances for finishing this one.
Yeah.
Not many people stronger than Carlo Traversi. Wow. Not a lot of room between that last hold and the finishing hold, but that looks like one of the hardest moves on the route.
As Carlo finishes up, we have Nick Milburn on men's number 1, tickling the finish holes, trying to figure out how he's going to match those.
And as Nick tries to work that out, and Matt Wilder gets ready in the crowd as well. You got action on the wall with Maddie Hong on number 4. And moving over to Isabel Faust as we moved away from Maddie Hong, who fell off of men's number 4. Isabel's got 9 seconds trying to stick this out. She's giving it everything she's got. She knows she's only got one more problem after this. Looks like she's going to get timed out, and that is time. It is good to see Isabel climbing a little bit better than yesterday, though. Looks like whether or not she makes finals, she's going to move up in the standings, and there are your standings right now. After 3 problems completed, Isabel has moved up into 4th place. We're currently led by Andrea Zeki, like we were talking about earlier. She's coming back after a long hiatus. Garrett Greger there hanging into 1st place, followed by Paul Robinson. And Carlo Traversi has moved up. And that's Carlo Traversi is going to bump up even further with his send of problem 3 when that gets shown on the board. Alex Fritz and Maddie Hong rounding out the top 5. So we come back to your live view of the ABS 14 National Championships. On the left of your screen, you saw Sierra Blair-Coyle there and Galina Parfanov stepping up. Sierra Blair-Coyle stepping up. Sierra's done a really great job getting some high-level sponsors in this or coming into this industry. Roxy, who's making a push into the outdoor world, has signed on with Sierra, and you're looking as well on problem 1.
It's Ian Dory.
Ian Dory, former UBC Pro Tour champion, qualifying very well in the top 10. And first guy with a real headband here today. We'll see if the headband's an advantage.
He's got his Apollo Ono look going on.
Yep. You never know what's going to turn the tide. Could be the headband. There's Ian making short work of the slab on problem 1. Ian could be a dark horse contender for finals. He's got the skills.
Oh, Maddie Hong coming off men's 4 there.
That is Maddie Hong's doppelganger. That is not Maddie Hong. That is Ben Hoberg. I made that mistake before. That's the old Alex Fritz, Josh Levin switcheroo I pulled on you earlier.
That happens.
Yeah, it does. John Cardwell on problem 3 and off problem 3 with the curse of the announcer. You know what we need the next time we do this, Brian? We need flashcards.
We need intern speed. Got a nice look at Galina Parfanov on women's number 2 there. I think she's somebody that we're going to hear a lot more about in the next upcoming years.
As we watch Matt Wilder dismount on problem 2, going back to the Jackie Hooftel text message bio spray. I've learned that our earlier competitor, Katie Peters, is Alex Johnson's roommate. We're going to see Alex Johnson coming in later today as one of our top 3 women. You think Alex Johnson's got the tools to get it done?
Definitely. I mean, she's won this event before. Always right up there as one of the favorites to win.
Ben Hoberg and Megan Martin on her final problem of the day. Once again, Megan's also making a long journey to get here to the ABS Nationals, coming from Florida. Which I support. Want to give a shout out to all of my people in Western Massachusetts. Tuning in now. Thanks for the support. I will tell you while we're watching Megan Martin here, off camera, Tiffany Hensley made it high into the head wall in women's 3, but also was unable to advance past where Isabel Faust got to. We'll see how that shakes out for a number of tries. If you're wondering if there are ties in the results today, how those are determined, they're determined by count back to the previous round. So if there's a tie in this round, your qualifier results will count. Same is true in finals. So every boulder problem, every move, every attempt, it all matters in the end. And looking at the results as they stand right now, Andrea Zeke hanging in first place, followed by Lisa Chulich and Francesca Metcalf. Isabel Faust will be our next woman on problem 4. On the men's side, Garrett Greger, Paul Robinson, Carlo Traversi, who's stepping up to problem 3. I would love to see Carlo be the first man to do problem 3.
It's definitely within his capability for sure. Just if somebody's going to figure out how to stick that last move, could be Carlo.
If you think you know better than us, please do log into the chat room. Knowing better than us, probably a lot of people out there who do. You can talk to Brian live in the chat room, or you can hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag ABS14. That's #ABS14. As we watch Carlo Traversi, Carlo's really one of the best traveled and most accomplished American boulderers out there with really unparalleled gymnastic strength as he makes short work of that double dyno. I like his chances up here, Brian.
Is he going to commit to 2 hands at once here?
It is a ticking clock. Every second you're up there, you're wasting energy.
No.
I'm going to be interested to see how that finally gets done. Austin Guyman, the auditorium blows up here at the City Auditorium in Colorado Springs as Austin Guyman gets close to the top on problem 4. They would love to see him do it. There you have it. You can hear the screams in the background. Everybody's glad to see their local boy making good. Always a favorite here at ABS Nationals. That's Kyra Condi, who just finished problem 1 for the women. Delaney Miller working on problem 2. And Chelsea Rude was on problem 3 for a second there. I believe that's Peter Dixon now working out the slab. Peter was another surprise top qualifier coming in.
We had a lot of people in the chat yesterday telling us that Peter is really a talented climber out of, I believe, Oregon. Won the Portland Boulder Rally this year. It's something that really be interesting to watch how he does on these problems today.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. You know, we've got our roster of top names: Daniel, Alex, and Alex on the women's side. Even Carlo. You know, people we see year in and year out, and they have the experience, and we know that they're probably accustomed to the bright lights and the big stage. But when you talk about the Peter Dixons, the Megan Mascarenas, the Dylan Barks of the world, you know, this is maybe the first time for them on this kind of stage, and it'll be really interesting to see. Some people, when there's more pressure, you know, it's really difficult for them to handle. Some people raise their game.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see some of these new faces today.
Yeah, speaking of people who raise their game when the stakes are the highest, shout out to the 2010 winner of this event, Sean McCall, who's following us on Twitter. Sean is a tremendous talent. You ever get to watch that guy climb, he plays the game the right way, the perfect blend of strength and commitment, mental tenacity. Really does it the right way. Sean, we're looking forward to seeing you back at this event in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicholas Milburn, power for days. One arm pull up, not enough. Narc, do I have to start hashtagging my own catchphrase there? Pound sign, power for days.
Hey, if it works, go with it. Checking in our scores again. For the men, it's Austin Guyman slots in third place for now, this top of men's number 4. Carlos well positioned. 2 tops already.
Yeah, I hate to say it because you want to see the local boy make good, but I don't know if 2 tops is going to be good enough for finals looking at the way this round is shaking out.
Doesn't seem like it, but hey, you never know what's going to happen.
I mean, here we are still, Carlo now on problem 3. It still hasn't been done. Isabel Faust has 45 seconds to make something happen here, and I think for her to make any noise and advance her position, I think she's got to get this problem done.
Yeah, this would be huge for her to finish this problem.
Carlos decided the campusing is the way, and is once again at the top of problem 3. And he is the first guy to do problem number 3, Carlo Traversi. The toe is the beta.
I think we're going to be seeing him tonight.
And I'm glad Carlo's a real showman. He understands that pro is short for professional, and that guy, we've seen him on Bear Grylls, we've seen him around the world. He understands. We're looking at him on instant replay, and you know he wants it. Look at his face there. He wants it. It's only semifinals, and he wants to be in the big show tonight.
That looks like going out right was the way to go there.
Got a question on Twitter here from Sam Owens, at Sam Pulls Hard. He asks, is Dylan Barks going to make finals, or are we going to see a repeat of what happened to Jimmy Webb at the SBC Pro? Jimmy, one of the strongest climbers out there, tremendous guy, tremendous talent, and one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. And was #1 going into finals, but had trouble making it stick. And, that's a really good question, Sam. And Brian, you and I were talking about this before. It's not enough to be the strongest person on a given day. And Josh was talking about this before. There are so many ways to succeed or to fail. As we watch Nina Williams cast off on #1 here. Do you have any insight as to whether, I think Dylan is a complete unknown to me. Is he going to be a guy who is going to be able to raise his game in the spotlight, or is it going to be something that gets to him?
I honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't know that I know him well enough. I haven't seen enough of a track record in these kind of events, so it's kind of an unknown quantity at this point. How he's going to respond. I know he was not feeling very good yesterday, so just kind of have to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we got Sarah Blair-Coyle, who was a finalist last year, stepping up on women's #2.
Just had Rob D on men's #1, finishing that up with the quickness.
I got to hit us with a little 21st century broadcast note here. I can say that Jackie Hoofdal called Carlo Send over text message before it happened. She said, Carlo is a master pincher. He owns those Technic pinches. Shout out to you, Jackie.
Just had John Cardwell finishing up men's #4 as well.
Ian Dory seeing if the headband is the beta on men's #2. Oh, and it doesn't seem to hurt. This problem is not over when you get to that last hold. Oh, he still has to match that hold to get credit for the send. Oh, brilliant technique, knowing he did not have enough to really match on top of the hold. He snuck his right hand underneath and touched it, got credit for the match, and he is pumped up as well he should be. Big up to Ian Dory, having the presence of mind when you're that desperately tired at the top of that problem to pull out the trick he needed to pull out to get it done.
Yeah, Ian's got a lot of fans in the chat room. That was a great effort on his part.
Speaking of people with lots of fans on Twitter, this is Sarah Blair-Coyle. She just got a shout out on problem 2. Garrett hanging tough in first place there before Carlo steps up to problem 4. But Carlo has moved up into second place ahead of Paul Robinson. On the women's side, Andrea Zeke hanging tough. Isabel Faust not able to make enough noise on problem 4 to crack to get any further than third place, which is a big move for her compared to where she was, I believe, coming into semifinals. But I don't know if that's going to be enough.
I don't think so. I think not topping out 4 is really going to hurt her.
Next up on 4, that's Tiffany Hensley, another athlete that seems as though she's been around forever, but is just 22 years old.
I feel like that's a recurring thing with a lot of these young climbers. I feel like they've been around for 10 years, and in a lot of cases they have been. And they're still only 23 years old.
So as a reminder, if you just tuned in, this is the ABS 14 National Championships here at the City Center Auditorium in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We are here to crown our national champion and determine our U.S. national team, as well as distribute a $10,000 cash purse. This is the semifinal round. Qualifiers were all day yesterday. We rounded down a field of over 120 athletes to the top 20 men and the top 20 women. The top 6 from each gender will make it into finals. Finals will go live online at 7:45 tonight at lt11.tv, neverstopexploring.com, and climbingnarc.com. Please do tune in. Please do spread the word. Every viewer is a vote for climbing. You know, climbing is being evaluated on the biggest stage right now. We're being evaluated for the 2020 Olympic Games. Whether or not we make it into these games will be evaluated again in the future, and there's really nothing more than you can do than to show your support for competition climbing and for these athletes. A lot of these athletes have been around. We were talking to Dave Graham before, and they really struggle to make ends meet, and they are so committed to the sport. And when we show our commitment back to them, tuning into a simple live feed might not seem like much, but it really does help to show these sponsors that we support this sport. So please do tune in this evening. It's going to be a big show, and by the time we're done with the semifinal round, we'll know who's getting into it. Speaking of getting into it, Carlo Traversi making his bid to be the first man to do all 4 problems of this semifinal round. Carlo really looks like he's settled into his game today after being a little bit off yesterday.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Carlo didn't send this problem. No problem.
And Climbing Narc is not surprised. All right, well, that's going to be our new first place qualifier right now. And there is room to improve. He's got 2 flashes and 2 tops, so there is room to improve. He did not flash all 4 problems. But I got to say, based on what we've seen so far, I like his chances.
Yeah, I think for sure we'll be seeing Carlo later.
It's Delaney Miller, who is known for her route climbing ability. She's done really well in the SCS National Championships. Just looks really comfortable up there on those tufas on women's number 3. Peter Dixon. Oh, gets it on the second try on men's number 2. He's using the old Yosemite chalk bag in front style. The guy could be doing the first ascent of the Phoenix right now, Ray Jardine style. And if you got that reference, you're old enough that you probably had trouble using the internet to get to this broadcast in the first place. Come on, Peter Dixon. Oh! That's where that trick that Ian Dory pulled out the other day, or excuse me, a couple minutes ago, is really going to help him. Peter's got about 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to figure out how he's going to do it. Speaking of Ian Dory, we have a # Ian Dory's headband shout out on Twitter. I like that. Nicely creative. If you're following along at home, that is the hashtag ABS14, ABS14 on Twitter, or follow along in the chat room with Climbing Narc. Mr. Narc, we got any interesting question in the chat room over there?
Not a lot of questions at this point, Pete. A lot of people giving their thoughts on how these problems are looking, how people are climbing, trying to follow their friends.
And they do feel that support.
Got Angie Payne out on women's qualifier number 1. Climbing next to Kyra Condi, who's right next to her, brushing up women's 2.
I really like Angie Payne's game. Angie's one of the most experienced competitors out here. She was the first woman ever to do V13. And we were talking earlier about how competitors deal with pressure. Angie Payne is one of those competitors who raises her game as the stakes get higher.
Definitely. You know, I think yesterday she had a little bit of a rough time in the middle part of the round, but she recovered nicely and positioned herself pretty well for making it into the finals here. And as we watch Peter, super impressed with his climbing between yesterday and today. I mean, I'll be honest, I had never heard of him before, and he's really impressed me.
I will follow your lead and also be honest and admit that I hadn't heard of him either, but I know his name now. And, you know, between the Peter Dixons and the Dylan Barks of the world, I mean, climbing just looks fantastic right now, and I'm really excited. You know, coming into yesterday, we were talking before the broadcast about, you know, how exciting was this event going to be? Was it just going to be the Daniel Woods and Alex Puccio show?
Right.
Clearly not. Clearly, Daniel and Alex have their work cut out for them if they're going to be 7-time national champions each.
Yeah, it's nice to see some fresh faces out here, kind of mixing it up with some of these the old guard.
Yeah, speaking of the old guard, we just got a shot of Mr. Rob D'Anastasio sporting his relatively recent haircut there. Rob stepping up to problem number 2. And there, once again, is our scoreboard. Carlo, Garrett, Paul Robinson, Austin Guyman, and John Cardwell. If finals were to start right now, Ian Dory would be our last qualifier, but he's got 2 more routes to do. On the women's side, that's Andrea Zeke, Lisa Chulich, Isabel Faust, Tiffany Hensley, Francesca Metcalf, and Jessie Youngworth. Jessie and Tyler were hanging tough for a little while, but it looks like they're about to get bumped out.
Ladies, number 1, Alex Johnson, Aim K.
Big shout out to somebody we wish was here right now. That is Miss Sasha DeJulian. Sasha, watching from home, giving us a shout out on Twitter. Sasha, thank you for tuning in. We do look forward to seeing you next year. And Sasha is a freshman right now at Columbia University, which is good, putting her studies first, but she's also traveling the world doing all the hardest routes and still competing. So we look forward to seeing Sasha here next year. Truly a professional in every sense of the word. And who do we got over there on men's number 1, Mr. Klemenark?
We're getting a good look at 2 of the favorites, really, Daniel Woods and Alex Johnson on their first problems. You'd expect that both of them should send these problems without too much difficulty.
Get that slab rude awakening coming out of isolation.
Got Nina Williams on women's 2 right next to Alex Johnson. She's somebody that's maybe a little bit of a newer name, but definitely making a name for herself in the last 6 months or so, climbing a number of V10s and V11s down in Waco.
Yeah, she was one of the dark horse candidates that we were talking about coming into qualifiers yesterday. Nina has raised her game to a level I'd never seen her climb at before over the course of 2011. And we got a request here from Tim Keenan on Twitter at Mon Voyage Neon, a guy who's DJ'd a lot of these events and who puts out his own music. You should follow him on SoundCloud as well. He asks who are our dark horse favorites for the event if we're not picking Daniel and Alex, which I think until you beat the champion, you got to call the champion. So that's my call for right now. But if I answer your question there, Tim, and I say who is my dark horse favorite right now, based on how I saw Megan Mascarenas climb yesterday, if she can keep that up and keep her head in the game today, it's going to be hard to pick against her. And ditto Dylan Barks, I think, you know, I hate to just pick the front runners, but both of them really impressed me yesterday. Although I will say, I think they're the underdogs. I think
for sure.
Alex and Daniel are still, you know, you got to take the championship away from the champion.
I mean, they both had great qualifying rounds, but nobody's ever won the comp in the qualifying round. So, you know, we got to kind of see how they come out today and see if they can do it 2 days in a row.
Well said. Well said. That's Sierra Blair-Coyle working it out on women's number 3, and Rob D'Anastasio wedged in a corner on men's number 2. Beautiful route setting there.
Get a nice look with our overhead cable cam here. Ian Dory, Rob D, high on the wall. It's Entrepreneur wall.
Ian Dory finding to be only our second male to do problem number 3. He's going for that trick heel hook beta that people have been trying, and it doesn't seem to be working. Seems like foot up is the way to go. trying to get even a little knee scum on top of his hand. Oh, and his knee and his foot popped there. Still, Carlo Traversi, the only male to stick that, and as was called out, Carlo does own those technique pinches.
I think at this point we can definitely say that men's 3 is most difficult set, or it's most difficult problem in the set for the men, and I think women's 2 has really given the women a lot of trouble. I don't think I've seen anybody high up on that problem at this point, but it'll be interesting to see how some of these last favorites fare in that problem.
You know, that's a good point. We're looking at the scoreboard off to our right here, and while we've got Carlo Traversi has done 4 out of 4 for the men, no woman's even come close yet.
No. Women's 2 and women's 3 both looking for send still.
All right, looking at the scoreboard here, as we were saying a minute ago, still 2 tops is good enough for first place and second right now. Plenty of room for improvement on the women's side as our top qualifiers come through. On the men's side, Carlo Traversi, our first athlete to climb 4 out of 4 on the men's side. Want to give a shout out to some more climbing luminaries watching us at home. Tim Kemple, watching us on a big screen. Tim was shooting last week with Carlo Traversi in Nevada. Now he's watching him crush on the live stream here at lt11.tv, neverstopexploring.com, and climbingnarc.com. Big shout out to you, Mr. Kemple. Mr. Kemple's been a big supporter of competition climbing over the years, and really one of the great success stories of the climbing industry, as we watch Alex Puccio working it out on problem 1. And Mr. Narc, the rumor around the venue yesterday was that Alex Puccio was suffering from a little bit of jet lag and actually suffering from a little bit of a sore throat, maybe a little bit of sickness, altitude. It's going to be interesting to see if she can rally here.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. She had to fly here from the UK. It's not as easy as just driving down from Boulder like a lot of these climbers. But last year she did the same thing and didn't stop her from winning, so I wouldn't let that hold her back.
And to her left, another favorite there. That was Vasya Vorotnikov, who's climbing with a bit of an injury. And he just did problem number 1. And when he jumps off these problems, he's just intentionally falling over onto his side so as not to ruin his left ankle. He only fell once in the qualifying round yesterday. It'll be really interesting to see if he can continue that momentum, as Alex Puccio is not phased on problem number 1.
Got one of our dark horses here, Michael O'Rourke, on men's number 2.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what Michael can do. Everybody seems to respect this kid's power. He's just as strong as any of the athletes, and the question just seems to be when he's going to get his technique together. If he does that, just look out.
Yeah, I think we've definitely seen a progression from him even since last year. His technique has improved a lot, and of course his power is still through the roof, so I expect good things from him.
There's Michael O'Rourke trying to rally. Come on, Michael, you're only on problem number 2, man. You're not even halfway through yet. Looking at Angie Payne, seeing if she can have some success here on, that targeting issue seems to be huge on problem 2. This is Peter Dixon once again, who was surprising us, but apparently not surprising anybody out west.
Nicholas Milburn over there on men's 4, just around the corner. There he is. He's another one of those climbers that I hadn't really heard of before, but he's really impressed me with his tenacity.
Yeah, I would say the future of the sport here is in good hands when we look at the Nick Milburns of the world. Wow.
Oh, nice effort.
Yeah, an impressive stick. So we got Angie Payne, Michael O'Rourke, Delaney Miller. We got a lot of athletes stepping up for their last try in the round. There's 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in the period. Daniel Woods sitting in the chair, trying to keep his game face on for problem 2. Seeing what Michael can do with, there we go, that looks a little bit better. All right, now I like Michael's chances. He's on his home turf up here.
Now he's in his wheelhouse, feet are off. Nice side-by-side action with Kyra Condi there in women's 3. Both climbing super strong. I think a little inexperienced there by Michael. He kind of rushed that move, I think.
Yeah, he's got the power to do any one of these boulder problems, but that's going to cost him. You know, when we look at the scoring here, to review the scoring once again, if you've seen ABS Nationals before, maybe you're accustomed to seeing zone holds, the scoring system used in the World Cup. As we look at the scoreboard here, Climbing Narc, Mr. Brian Reynolds, can you explain it to us? We're using top score here, so how are these? We're seeing top, flash, then we're seeing a number. What are the criteria you used in the system to determine the placing of these athletes?
Sure, well, it's pretty straightforward. First, most important criteria is number of top outs. That's first criteria we use. Second criteria is total number of holds controlled. Third is the total number of problems that were flashed. And then after that, we kind of get into some more minutia, try and break up ties, but main difference, number of tops, number of holds controlled. So you can see Carlo's got 4 tops pretty clearly in first place.
So as we look at Daniel Woods here, who we were mentioning before is our prohibitive favorite, as he's side by side with Rob D'Anastasio and Nina Williams.
Oh.
We do know there seem to be a lot of other people who can beat him here, and Carlo Traversi is the only male to do number 3, which Rob is stepping up to. Just got a text again from Tim Kemple. Sent me a beautiful photo of the V15 that Carlo did last week, or a couple weeks ago, called Meadowlark Lemon. Come on, Rob. Oh, so close. Looks like you need your foot up. Anyways, Tim says that Meadowlark Lemon V15, apparently Carlo was able to run laps on it for photos. If that's not fitness, I don't know what is.
That's pretty strong. Got Carlo's dad in the chat room. Great to see everybody out there supporting their favorite climber.
And off camera, we had our number 1 female qualifier, Megan Mascarenas, make such quick work of women's number 1 that we didn't even get it on camera. And maybe she's answering her question as to whether or not she's got any butterflies. Same with Dylan Barks. As we look at Daniel Woods here now on men's number 2. Looks like the young guns and Megan Mascarenas and Dylan Barks will not be intimidated. Oh, okay. Daniel Woods is putting us to shame here, Brian. We were commenting that
it's a pretty. He's known for lock-off strength, just like that.
Yeah, a minute ago we were watching Michael O'Rourke and saying you couldn't do it that way. Daniel Woods says not only can you do it that way, you can do it statically that way.
I think the difference, if you notice, how Daniel went a lot more controlled. Michael just kind of threw the move and just wasn't going to work for him that way.
Yeah, well, that's some experience. Daniel Woods, as he has layered experience and technique on top of his prodigious strength, I think that's why we call him the favorite.
Big reaction to Danielson in the chat room. A lot of fans of Mr. Woods out there. We'll see if we can get him to make one of these problems look hard.
Looking at Alex Johnson and Nina Williams side by side on women's 2 and 3. We're running out of chances here to see anybody do anything with women's number 2.
It still seems like the route setters aren't quite calibrated for how the women are climbing.
Yeah, I believe Isabel Faust still has the high point on women's number 3 here, as we watch Nina Williams climb into this Tufa feature. Sierra, who's had a bit of a tough semifinals round, now on problem 4. See if she can rally. This problem has been done by our number 1 and number 2 qualifiers right now, Andrea Zeke and Lisa Chulich.
And I believe somebody in the chat pointed out that Lisa Chulich is a Division I volleyball player.
No kidding. I don't know what to say. It's a rare occasion.
She's got skills. As hard as it is to believe, there's more to the world than climbing sometimes.
It's true that there is, and it's really good to get this broadcast out to that world. We do appreciate the support from all of our sponsors, and I want to give a big shout out to USA Climbing and to Louder Than 11 for making it happen. So we look down from our cable cam with about 19 seconds remaining. Rob D with his final attempt on number 3 here. Looks like to be assured of a spot in finals. You're going to want to do this problem. He's got 10 seconds remaining. He's going with that low foot again, though. Oh. And it looks like that is not going to get it done. Well, once again, this is really looking surprising on the women's side. While on the men's side, things are starting to sort out with some of the favorites moving to the top as we expected. On the women's side, I'm still surprised to see Andrea Zeke and Lisa Chulich hanging in there. Those would be 2 surprise names to make it into finals.
Yeah, definitely. It's been interesting to see how things have shaken out for the women, where some of the first competitors come out have kind of set the bar high, and nobody's been able to match them so far.
We're looking at Alex Puccio. It's our second to last woman to have a chance on number 2. Angie Payne stepping up high on number 3. I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to call it. Angie Payne's going to do problem 3. We're having the pleasure of watching 2 of the best female boulderers in the history of North America climb side by side. It's really something you don't get to see every day as Angie moves up onto the head wall. Just technique and power. Oh! Angie's got 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. We know she's got one more go in her, and Alex Puccio making that target there.
I believe that's high point on women's too.
I haven't seen anybody stick that move, and this is Alex's flash attempt.
Gonna have to walk her feet over.
Known for her power, but that's technique from Alex Puccio, the first woman to send number 2. Apparently that Colt's not holding her back.
I think she was just sandbagging everybody.
Vasya Varadnikov. I don't know if this is true, but there was a rumor floating around New England that Vasya could do 100 pull-ups in a row without stopping. Or maybe it was even more than that. Basically an indefinite number of pull-ups. He would just stop and rest.
People would just stop paying attention after a while. Lose count.
We're climbers. We can't count that high anyway. But Vasya can do a lot of pull-ups. We got Vasya and Angie Payne side by side. Peter Dixon moving up into problem 4. Kyra Condi working it out on the slab just out of frame to the right. Angie Payne's got 2 minutes to prove me right and stick that finishing jug as Vasya smooth and controlled. Vasya gets it done on problem 3. He came to get down. Angie with a tough dismount. It's going to take a lot to get her out of this competition. She, like I said, raises her game as the stakes increase.
Getting our last look at Kyra Condi over on women's number 4. Just 16 years old. Got a bright future ahead of her for sure.
We got a quick break. We did have a question on Twitter about what are some good climbing holds to buy. You're looking at our climbing hold suppliers here. That's E-Grips, Technic, Motivation Volumes, and Entrepreneur climbing holds today. All of the holds look beautiful, and our route setters have done a fantastic job. Angie Payne's got 45 seconds to get this done. Ooh, and that was one of those tough strategy calls there where she thought it was worth another try, but did not advance her high point.
I think it's always tough when you get to the very last move on both your tries to figure out what to do at that point.
It is hard to walk away. Michael O'Rourke finally put his foot up high. Let's see if that gets it done for him. Oh, so close. Well, Angie Payne was close, but she could not quite get it done on women's number 3. We're about to see Alex Johnson, our 3rd-ranked female competitor, step up.
This women's field is really going to be interesting to see how scores come down, because it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of women that finish more than 2 problems.
Women's number 2, that's Megan Mascarenas. Men's 2, Dylan Parks. I missed Dylan on the first one, he was so fast. Dylan Parks hailing out of Michigan, I believe. Dylan Parks did the whole Madness Cube in 1 day.
You now are looking at our number 1 female and male competitors, Megan Mascarenas and Dylan Parks. This is the big show. This is where we find out whether or not the bright lights affect them. I'll tell you what, Dylan Parks was just with that 1 step, gave up his flash attempt. His feet left the ground. That counts as a try. There's a little bit of inexperience working against him right there.
Men's 4, Rocky D. Women's 4, Nina Rose.
Oh, Daniel Woods off on men's 3
Yeah, just
there.
out of frame there. Daniel Woods did not flash men's number 3. Still Carlo Traversi, the only man to do it. Alex Johnson making good progress on women's number 3 as Megan Mascarenas is struggling with number 2. Can she be the first woman to do it? Like Angie Payne, fingers over the lip of that hold, but not enough to stick it. Alex has plenty of time. We'll see if she can get it done. And Megan Mascarenas unable to target that slot on number 2.
But even though she fell, I mean, that was really impressive how smooth she was climbing on those moves that have really given the other women a lot of trouble.
Well, now we find out, right? This is the first time she's really seen any adversity. Is that her first fall in this whole competition?
I think it is.
Now we see you got to rally, you got to keep your mind in the game. You got to know you're strong enough to do it. Daniel Woods knows he's strong enough to do it.
I think she did have a couple falls yesterday, now that I think about it, but it's a tricky move that she's going on as we watch Daniel Woods. Second man to finish men's number 3.
Like we said, you got to beat the champion to be the champion, and Daniel Woods is not going to beat himself. Brought his A game. See Daniel and Voss with a little fist bump there. One of my favorite things about this is we bring athletes into the booth, we interview them. We had Dave Graham and Josh Larson and Ethan Pringle in here and Nina Williams. Everybody wants to come here and try as hard as they can, and yet they sincerely want everyone else to do as well as they can too. There's tremendous honor in the sport. It is really, really fun to cover because everybody leaves it out on the field, turns around and cheers for the people who are trying to beat them, and it's something else to see.
It's a really great atmosphere.
Okay, looking at our men's results right now, Ian Dorey has moved up into second place. Garrett Gregor still hanging on in third there. Peter Dixon in fourth. Peter and Garrett definitely on the bubble as we got a bunch of guys still going here. On the women's side, moving up from the bottom, Andrea Zeke and Lisa Chulich still hanging in there. Alex Puccio and Isabel Faust in third and fourth place respectively. Isabel again on the bubble.
About a minute left for Megan Mascarenas to give that problem another try if she feels like it's worth it for her. Watch Alex Johnson and Dylan Barks. And Dylan's really struggling to find the right position and get started on men's number 2. I think some of the competitors have kind of figured out right away that facing away from the wall seems to work a little bit better. Kind of lessens the swing they have to take when you hit that first actual hold.
All right, Mr. Runnels, I'm going to step out of the booth, see if I can track down some of these athletes, see how what their experience was for the day. We'll be back shortly. Leave you with the chat room and the Twitter in hand. That's a lot of internet out there. You got it all?
Internet's a big place. I got it.
All right, as we see Rob D'Anastasio and Nina Williams there on problem 4.
This round winds down. We got Angie Payne and Michael O'Rourke up on their last problems. We have Vasya Vorotnikov on men's number 3. Then we have Alex Pucci on women's 3. See if Alex can keep her flash streak alive here in semifinals. Really dropping the gauntlet for these other competitors. Oh, wow. Alex Puccio came to play today. She's not messing around. 3 flashes, 3 problems. 1 to go. We'll be seeing her climbing later. Only woman to finish 3 problems at this point. And the only woman to finish problems 2 and 3. We're checking out a replay. Check that out. All 3 competitors resting up for their final attempts on these problems. Looking at the leaderboard right now, I do not see Angie Payne on the screen at this point. She definitely needs to finish this problem. She wants to be in the conversation for finals. Great work by Angie Payne, finishing up women's 4. She's psyched. It's going to put her in good position.
Way to come back and get it done. All right, we got Vasya and Michael O'Rourke still climbing here. Come on, Vasya.
got Vasi and Michael both struggling a bit here on their problems. Fatigue starting to set in for these competitors after they climb 5 problems yesterday, 4 problems today. It's part of semifinals. Pretty soon we're going to go down to Pete Ward. He's down by the wall for some climber interviews. See Angie Payne standing by him. Five seconds left. Oh. Not a send for Michael O'Rourke.
All right, I'm here next to problem 4 with Angie Payne. Angie Payne, great job rallying on problem 4 number there. How'd you feel today?
I felt better than yesterday. I couldn't finish off number 2 or 3, but yeah, I held it together for number 4, so I'm psyched. Yeah.
You were really close on number 3. I picked you to the live audience at home. I said Angie Payne's going to do this. You had your fingers over the top there. What happened?
I touched it. I just didn't go quite hard enough. I couldn't decide if I wanted to get my left foot up or not, and I didn't go hard enough. And then the second time, I was just a little bit too tired, and I got some good whiplash, so I'll feel that one tomorrow for sure.
Well, real quick, tell us what Alex has got to do here on problem 4. You just finished that one.
Like the beta, you mean?
Not. You know what? No beta on the internet. This is Angie Payne. She had a great semifinals round. Excuse me. Look for her hopefully in finals. She's probably right on the bubble right now, so we're going to throw it back to Climbing Narc in the booth. Brian, it's all you.
Checking in on Megan Mascarenas on women's number 3. Our number 1 qualifier from yesterday, the only woman to send all 5 qualifying problems. Just had Daniel Woods fall off men's number 4 off camera. Megan Mascarenas, second woman to send women's number 3. It's going to put her in good position. Get a spot in finals tonight at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Dylan Barks trying to add his name to the list of men to send men's 3. It's not a long list at this point. Carlo Traversi and Daniel Woods both sent it.
Looks like our scoreboard changed a little bit. Got 3 names up towards the top. Interesting, so much more climbers do.
Woods not giving up on this problem, even though he probably doesn't need it to make finals, but he doesn't know that. Doesn't matter, he sends it anyways. look for him tonight in finals. As we see the last efforts from Alex Johnson and Dylan Barks. Two climbers straight out of the Midwest.
AJ Alex Johnson on women's 4.
There's not much to grab onto on those holds, folks. I tell you, I went over and looked at all these problems before the round started. These problems are not easy. That's going to be it for Alex Johnson on women's 4. As we take a look at the scoring update, Carlo Traversi and Daniel Woods both in first place. Carlo 1 spot ahead based on having 2 flashes compared to Daniel's 1. Got Ian Dory in 3rd place, Garrett Greger in 4th place, Peter Dixon and Paul Robinson rounding out the top 6. Women's scores, got Alex Puccio, of course, in 1st place at this point, 3 flashes, 3 attempts. Angie Payne in 2nd place, Andrea Zizikli, 3rd place, Megan Mascarenas in 3rd place right now with 1 problem to come. Lisa Chulich.
All right, I'm here at the side of the wall with Daniel Woods, our 6-time ABS national champion. Daniel, you looked like you're in difficulty a little bit there on number 3 and number 4, but you rallied. How'd you do it?
I guess just got really psyched. I knew that the other guys did a bunch of boulders, especially when I first entered. I heard Carlo had a really good semifinal, so I kind of knew the bar was already set high. And in my head, even before going in, I was like, I need to do 4 boulders to make it because these guys are strong. So luckily I got the 4 boulders. I wanted flashes, so I was a little pissed about that, but that's what finals is for, to improve some mistakes.
Well, I was really impressed. I mean, you've been the 6-time national champion. Talk a little bit about, I mean, we're looking at Dylan Barks in the chair right now, our number 1 qualifier. There's more young talent than ever before. What do you have to do to win tonight?
Yeah, it's amazing the new talent that's arrived on the scene. I mean, all these kids coming up from the juniors and stuff are super strong. They're kind of eager to have a win as well, so they're kind of battling it out for that final spot. So I think all I can do for finals is try to stay as relaxed and focused as possible and read the climbs and just get psyched and try to do them.
Yeah, great beta from Daniel Woods. Well, good luck tonight, man. That's Daniel Woods from the side of problem 4. We'll send it back to you, Brian.
Thanks to Daniel Woods for taking the time out there as we watch Vasilya Vorotnikov send men's 4. Alex Puccio over there on her final problem. Looking at some updated scores here, looks like Vasilya Vorotnikov just bumped Paul Robinson out of finals in the 6th spot for Vasilya at this point. And rounding out the women's scores that we were talking about before, we had Lisa Chulich in 5th place, and Alex Johnson is in 6th place right now. Looks like at this point, Puccio is just climbing for the fun of it because she's going to be our first place qualifier for finals. 4th top out there.
Safely heading into the big shows.
I think she's warmed up now. Got about a minute left here before our last two competitors climb their last problems for the afternoon. Just take a minute here. Remind everybody, final starts tonight. Coverage will be live from Colorado Springs at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Hope everyone will join us. Bring your friends.
Our 6-time national champion, Alex Puccio. Alex has been fighting a little bit of a cold the last couple days, just flew in from England. How are you feeling out there today?
Just short of breath and my throat hurts a little bit, but I mean, I climbed good, so can't complain.
Yeah, it didn't stop you from rallying. You were 4 for 4 in the problems today. What did you do mentally to get ready for today?
I don't know. I was really nervous, so I was just hoping I was going to feel good because I woke up this morning like in the middle of the night wanting to throw up and my throat was hurting really bad, so I was contemplating almost not even doing it. So I'm glad it kind of got a little bit better and I'm glad I'm in finals.
Yeah, glad you rallied. Well, tell me a little bit about the woman climbing right behind us, Megan Mascarenas. I had never heard of her, and she was our #1 qualifier coming in today, really giving you a run for your money. Have you ever climbed against Megan before?
No, but I've known, she's just now old enough to do the competitions. But, it's no surprise. I remember, I was talking to Angie earlier today, and I remember when I won my first ABS Nationals that I've ever done when I was 16, just turned 16, and I was old enough to compete, and everyone's probably the same thing, like, who is this young kid? And now it's like, it's happening all over again.
It's a passing of the guard. Well, hey, congratulations. Good luck rallying for this evening. It looks like you're going to be in finals at 4 for 4. We're going to send it back to the booth. The climbing narc, Brian Runnels, take it away, man.
All right, got our final two competitors here. Dylan Barks from Michigan. Megan Mascarenas from just 15 years old. Dylan finishing strong. The send a men's 4. I don't think that's going to be enough to see him make it to finals after a strong qualifying round. Couldn't quite put it together on the middle 2 problem for the men.
Congratulations to the round setters as well with a great semifinal round here, great action. Can't wait to see what Jeremy Harding and his crew have in store for the finals problems. Told me there's some amazing looking things out there. We were really pleased with all the work leading into it from the week. So if you don't have your ticket, get your ticket. If you're going to be here live, and you got friends who can't.
Looks like Megan should be in finals, regardless of how she does on this problem, on the strength of her 2 flashes at this point.
Once again, doors open tonight at 7 o'clock. We will be introducing the finalists at 7:45. And hey, there is refreshments and food here at the auditorium, so if you get a little hungry, a little thirsty, get on out and check out the big guy.
What do you guys in the chat room think? Can Megan do this problem? Looks like Megan's going to give it one more try. She's got a little bit over a minute left before this semifinals round comes to a close.
Live scoreboard. It's unofficial at this time, but you can get an idea of your top 6. Puccio with a great round, Angie Payne, Andrea Zugay, Megan Mascarenas, who's still climbing. You have 1 minute remaining. Alex Johnson. For the men, Colorado racing with a 52 of Daniel Woods, both with 52s. Ian Dory's close with a 50.
Looks like Megan's going to give it one more try here for the crowd. And that's time. That's going to wrap it up. I think we're going to go down, do some scoring updates here in a second, get you guys up to speed on what went down. Folks start to filter out of this auditorium here in Colorado Springs so we can get the wall set up for finals. All these holes you see on the wall have to be taken down, replaced by our problems for finals that the route setter's been working all week on. Looks like we're going to go down to Pete Ward here in just a second, who is with Dylan Barks, it looks like.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are volunteering for the finals, if we have you signed up to volunteer for the finals, we need you to report. So please stick around. Just hang out here by the TV monitor on the right side of the room, stage left. If you are volunteering for finals, please stick around. Thank you. We don't need any additional volunteers, but we do need those who are already signed up to stick around. Thank you.
All right, this is Pete Ward here with Dylan Barks and Megan Mascarenas after the semifinal round. These were two of our great young guns, names everybody hadn't heard before. Dylan, congratulations. This is your first time qualifying first, beating Daniel Woods in the qualifying round. How did that feel yesterday?
It felt really good, actually. I don't know. It was kind of unexpected. I just went and climbed the routes and managed to do all of them first try, so I don't know. I was happy about it.
Yeah, you can't do any better than that. We were talking a little bit about how you climbed the Madness Cave in a day recently. Everybody heard about that in the news. So you obviously have ambitions outside as well. How do you translate that ability on the in the Madness Cave into a competition like this, or does it translate at all?
Well, I don't know. I climb mainly in the gym, so actually I kind of it's harder to transition onto rock actually because I'm mostly a gym climber, and so competitions, I guess I'm used to climbing inside a lot, and then as much the more you get outside, the easier it becomes to get used to the rock and kind of stuff.
Well, I'm sure this isn't the last we've heard from you. It was an awesome performance. And Megan, I hadn't heard your name either, but an amazing qualifying round, an amazing semifinals round here as well. How'd today go for you?
It went pretty good. I don't know.
It was a bit of, you're coming in here. There's a lot of names that everybody's heard before: Alex Puccio, Alex Johnson. And it turns out, you're every bit the climber they are. And I think we had a lot of people rooting for you online. Do you feel that support?
Yeah, I was really glad for all the support that people have given me.
Yeah, well, good luck in finals. It's Megan Mascarenas and Dylan Barks. We're going to send it back to Louder Than 11, John Glassberg, Jordan Shipman, and Brian Runnels in the booth.
We're going to take a look at some of the scores that we have here for the men. We still have Carlo Traversi in first place, followed by Daniel Woods. Third place, we have Ian Dory. Fourth, we got Garrett Greger. We got Peter Dixon in 5th place, followed by Vasily Voronikov. Remember, all these scores are still unofficial at this point, but that's looking like your top 6 for finals later tonight. We got Pete back in the booth here. Welcome back, Pete.
Pete back in the booth and duly impressed at some of the names that I see here in finals. Carlo and Daniel Woods, no surprise there. But Ian Dorian, Garrett Greger, and Peter Dixon would not have seen that coming.
It's a nice mix, you know, people that you think you'd expect to be in finals, followed by some of the people with some new faces. So we get the women's scores flying in here.
Yeah.
No surprise with Alice Puccio in 1st place. Super impressive effort on her part.
Angie Payne raising her game as the stakes increase.
We got Megan Mascarenas in 3rd place.
Andrea Zeke and Lisa Chulich. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that was strong. And then 6th place, we have Alex Johnson. And it looks like because of Andrea being a foreign competitor, we'll probably be taking 7 women to finals. Looks like Isabel Faust.
Oh, is that the case?
Could be joining us later.
Is Andrea competing as a foreign citizen?
I believe so. We'll find out. Remember, unofficial. Scores will be posted at absnationals.org when they're ready. Running orders, schedule, anything you need to know about the comp, go check out the site.
And once again, you have been watching the semifinal round of the ABS National Championships from the City Center Auditorium in Colorado Springs. I want to thank everybody for tuning in again, and please do tune in again this evening at 7:45 Mountain Standard Time. Climbing will begin at 8 for the finals round. Please tune in at neverstopexploring.com, louder than LT11.tv or climbingnarc.com. Big up to our sponsors, and thank you for the support. The ABS National Championships is powered by the North Face. Our partners are Evolve, Cliff Bar, Entrepris Climbing Wall, Climbing Magazine, and the UBC Pro Tour. We are supported by eGrips, Technic, Motivation Volumes, Asana, Entrepris Climbing Holds, and USA Climbing is the national governing body for the sport. Please go to usaclimbing.org, and if you are not a member, become a member and support competition climbing. The UBC Pro Tour is a co-production of USA Climbing and NE2C Productions. For my man Climbing Narc, for John Glassberg, Jordan Shipman, and Louder than 11, this is Pete Ward signing off from the City Center Auditorium. We will see you at 7:45 Mountain Standard Time tonight. Have a great afternoon.
ABS Nationals 13 Championships. We're just getting ready. We're doing a dry run. We're just going to test all of our cameras, make sure we're getting good footage, good sounds, and we're really excited to get going with this thing.
This year, we probably have more people on hand doing things than we've ever had before.
A couple cameras running down the camera floor, get the competitors as they're about to step on the wall or that fell off.
These events are really fun to shoot because it's really high energy. It happens really quick, and there's all this stuff happening all at once that has to be managed and organized. And we kind of pride ourselves in being organized and being able to manage, a big crew of people that are working for, this common highlight of this big event that we're trying to put together.
One great thing about how we work as a team is with me shooting stills, we can use those as plates for the Vimeo. The photos with the combination of the video, you know, it's going to be great. It's going to be all over the internet, just LT11 style, man.
Let's see, so one of the great things about this event is we're only an hour and a half away from LT11's headquarters. So after the event, the next morning we're going to get to pack up and go home, and we're going to be back at our workstations with our supercomputers. So what that's going to let us do is I'm going to be able to do some really cool stuff with the titles and motion graphics that I normally wouldn't have the resources to do if we were on location somewhere else. This is the now standard LT11 highlight reel, and as always, it's free whether you like it or not.